Leo. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for March of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, Leo, this month's focus on relationships is a continuation of last month's themes. If Mercury and Venus retrograde got your undies in a bundle in your relationships, it's time for all that stuff to come untangled at this point. And a lifelong love reading can be really helpful in finding clarity in your relationships and in the sides of you that relate to. You can find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Well, I want to start off by telling you about Ceres and Juno. I'm starting to report news about these two asteroid goddesses. Ceres presently is right here traveling along through your 11th house, where she'll be for the next couple of months until the middle of May. And Ceres is like the steward, the gardener. She is about cultivation and culling. And so wherever she goes, it's really good to look for, what do you need to cultivate? What would you like if you view this arena as a garden, what would you like to grow? And what would you like to weed out? Well, Ceres this month and next month too is traveling along through your 11th house, which is the house of community, tribe, friends, friendship, the people of like mind that you feel contextualized by when you hang out with them. And so having Ceres in this house suggests a little gardening needs to happen in those communities and those groups. So this might mean, that you don't hang out with your quilters so much this month. Instead, you hang out with your book club. It could be about, how you spend your time relative to these groups, and putting less cultivation into one thing and more cultivation into another. Or it could be about specific friendships where you're asking yourself, how solid is this friendship really? Do I want this friendship to grow? Or is this really something that's just kind of a distraction? Maybe I should weed it out. Then the other planet I want to tell you about right now is Juno, which is in a house right now that's just wonderful for you. Juno is all about partnership, committed relationship, whether for personal reasons or business reasons. And she's kind of like a social director. She likes to connect you with others and make matches. And Juno is in the house of relationship for you right now. So this is like so perfect. This is a really great time to improve the relationships that you already have, perhaps form new relationships, perhaps deepen commitment in the relationships that you already have. And also if you have, basically as the social director, Juno loves to look around at the people around you and ask yourself, who should I be partnering with? For this or that or the other purpose? And who of those people should know each other? And how can I introduce them in a good way? So those are really great uses of Juno as she travels through your 7th house in the next couple of months until May. Julia, you've got news about Venus and Mars. What's that stuff?
I really do. Hey there, Leo. Well, Venus and Mars have been moving together pretty much all year. And they're going to continue to move together this month. However, they're changing houses. So last month, this traveling conjunction was happening in your 6th house. And Jamie and I really went into a lot of depth about what that would feel like in last month's video. So if you need a refresher, I refer you over there. But by March 5th, Venus and Mars are going to enter your 7th house. Venus and Mars, they're energetically kind of different from one another. Venus is about pleasure. She's about harmony. She's very social. And wherever we have her, we feel a bit of pleasure. Then Mars is a planet that's very driven. It represents the action hero in you. Wherever you have Mars, you can get really driven and get a lot of work done. However, Mars is also a bit conflict prone as well. The 7th house is your romantic relationship, Leo, where these two are meeting together. And the 7th house also rules partnership. So if you have a business partner partner or a best friend, a platonic partnership could be covered by this house, as well as also consultants. So the people that you hire for advice. Now, with Venus in this house, she's adding more luck, harmony, joy, growth to your relationships, which is awesome. Venus, she's very pleasure loving and she represents beauty. So if you are in a relationship, your partner might be looking extra beautiful to you this month. So that's definitely a nice thing to have within relationships. And for the single Leos out there, that can be very helpful if you are dating out in the dating app world. Now, Mars in the seventh house can be a wonderful transit if you have to get a lot of work done with a partner. So again, that could be a business partner, a best friend, or even your romantic relationship. Mars in the seventh can sometimes bring up conflicts in relationships, but the more that you guys focus on just getting a lot of work, joint effort done together, the more you can make a constructive use of that transit, which is really great too. And Mars in the seventh can sometimes be conflicts with consultants as well. Maybe you're wanting a second opinion really badly over something. Venus in general is moving direct and fast this month, which is great because she did a whole retrograde cycle for 6 weeks this winter that we're probably all still kind of, remembering that was in recent memory. However, now that she's direct and fast, that means relationships will be moving more smoothly this spring, which is great news. And then I would also like to say a few words on Mercury, that planet that represents communication. Also, wherever we have Mercury is where you expend a lot of mental energy that month. By March 9th, Mercury is moving into your 8th house. This is the house of other people's money, the money you share with those closest to you, or even institutions like banks. It can represent taxes, mortgages, loans, etc., joint credit cards. And it's also a house of research and investigation. So Mercury in the 8th for most of the month is a wonderful transit if you do need to investigate or research something, maybe for school, maybe you're writing a thesis, maybe you have a project at work, maybe there's something in your personal life you want to get to the bottom of. So that's a good use of the transit. The 8th house can also represent psychology too. So if you are seeing a psychologist or some other practitioner of a healing art, this can be a time of making mental breakthroughs as well. Now, Mercury in the 8th, since it represents other people's money, you might be strategizing or have an increase in communication around money too this month.
Yep, undoubtedly. There are 2 moons I want to tell you about. The first one is happening on March 2nd, and it's also happening in the 8th house. And this one involves the sun and the moon together in the sign of Pisces. This one has a lot of sweet harmony with Uranus, which is why we're calling it Rationally Dreaming for the Collective. The collective is a very Uranus idea. Dreaming is a very Pisces idea. But in your case, I think that the themes of this moon are going to land a little bit more in the realm of intimacy. This is a house of sharing. It's a house of trust and investments. That can mean financial. It can also mean emotional. So, and moons have to do with the planting of seeds. A moon in Pisces particularly has to do with planting the seeds of empathy, of kindness, of compassion, and warmth and understanding. And the great thing about these moons is that they're connected, so that we have the new moon when you can plant the seeds of empathy and compassion in the trust that you have in your relationship. So plant seeds of trust, compassionate seeds of trust, whether that is just an emotional thing, like, sharing with somebody emotionally and trusting them to regard you warmly in your moment of vulnerability, or whether it's, financial trust, actually investing in some financial way. Either way, planting the seeds here at the new moon can result in a harvest at the full moon, which is happening on the 17th or 18th, depending on your time zone. And that moon is placed over here in the 2nd house, which is an earthy practical house, and it's also in the earthy practical sign of Virgo. And this is a house of your own money, your own finances, your own resources. So it wouldn't be surprising if some investment, some act of kindness that you do for somebody in your life that you feel partnered with around the beginning of the month, the new moon, bears fruit halfway through the month around the full moon and may actually put money in your pocket. So think of that. Then the last thing I want to tell you about is the seasonal change. The sun starts out in the season of Pisces, which is your 8th house. Again, bringing attention to the realms of intimacy and psychological depth, also shared finances and investments of all kinds. And it's been there since last month. It's always good to pay attention and to put your high quality attention into whatever arena of life the sun is traveling through in the house structure of your chart. So at the beginning of the month, paying high quality attention to your investments is a very good idea. But as the season changes and we move into the season of Aries on March 20th, the sun shifts into your 9th house of growth and expansion, philosophy, travel, and worldview. And so taking your attention, bringing it out of the deep, dark cave of intimacy and out into the light of the 9th house, big picture, philosophical worldview, growth and expansion arena, it can feel pretty good. And most particularly, because this is a house of exploration and adventure as well as growth, this is a really great season for traveling, whether that's long distance travel or adventuring out into nature, another thing that this house really, really likes. And bring the full force of that Aries drive and energy and just, excitement and enthusiasm. So, it wouldn't be surprising if the form that your spring cleaning takes is that you leave the house entirely and go out and get into the woods, get out into nature, climb a mountain and refresh yourself, before you come back to the realities of your life. So some form of adventure as the sun moves into your 9th house, definitely called for. And that's what we have for you today, Leo. You can find, if this is the horoscope for your sun sign, you can find your rising sign horoscope or the reverse on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the horoscopes tab. Also on our website, in the types of readings tab, you can find readings for absolutely any occasion and need, including the one that you might find yourself the most interested in right now, which is the lifelong love reading. And if you are interested in a class because you want to learn more about astrology, we offer those too in the classes tab. You can always find the news of the month on our monthly forecast. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.